What is up? Welcome into your daily Buckeye Blitz. I'm your host, Joe from the Buckeye Cast. Always here for you when you need something, not for fans of other teams like Georgia who cannot get out of the comments section. You guys won. Please go enjoy it. Move along, man. I'm done talking about Ohio State and Georgia. That's fucking 2 weeks ago. All right. Today's show, Friday, January 13th, Friday the 13th, 2023. The Christmas tree is still standing and hopefully watered. I'll have to check that after this. Anyway, today's topic. I know that I just said we're not going to talk about the Georgia game, and we're not, but we are going to discuss kind of a quick rehash of 2022. What was good, what was bad, and where we need to focus in 2023. And then from there, we'll kind of focus on these improvements and needs going forward in daily Buckeye Blitz shows. So stick with us. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on podcast, please jump over to the YouTube channel and just search for the Buckeye Cast. Please subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And if you're listening on the YouTube channel, hey, jump over to the podcast platform, subscribe there, and leave a review. That'd be helpful. I'd like to know what you guys think. And you can always email me. Nobody ever emails me anymore. I used to get a lot of communication, like especially emails from you guys, but it's kind of quiet lately. Maybe people are just tired of football. Understandable. I don't ever get tired of it. That's why I do this show every freaking day. All right. Today's topic, one of the most important off seasons is this off season, in my opinion. And you could probably say that every year, but some more than others. And we all remember leading up to this season, we were excited. We were like, this is the year, this is our chance to win the title. We got the best team we're going to have probably coming back. We were returning C.J. Stroud, wide receivers Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr. after blowing up in the Rose Bowl. Emeka was pitching in. We had the pillars on the outside at the tackle positions, DeWand and Paris Johnson, returning starters. And of course, you had the running backs, Mayan and Travion, who made an awesome 1-2 punch, even without Evan Pryor with the injury. But we didn't live up to any expectations that we had going into the season. So highlights, let's talk about the offense. One of the most explosive in the country, maybe the most explosive. Second in the country at points per game, 44. Ninth in the country in yards per game at 490. CJ threw for 3,688 yards, 41 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. The Buckeyes had 2 receivers go over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns both. And the running game obviously was an issue with injuries throughout the year, but that amount of firepower in yardage and points per game is a solid foundation, And on the defense, they actually were a highlight. I know that they didn't look great the last 2 games of the year, but they showed vast improvement. They're not a top 5 defense yet. They may not even become a top 5 defense this coming season. I want them to. They need to. I need to see some, more steps in the right direction. But they improved in points per game. They went from 31st in 2021 to 17th in 2022, allowing 21 points per game. That's a vast improvement. In yards per game, they finished 12th this year at 321.5 yards per game. That was a huge improvement from 51st in 2021. So let's talk about some of the lowlights as we leave off the defense. Run game, obviously, like I touched on, injuries to Travion and Mayan. Both of them were in and out of the lineup. Travion's injury seemed to run the entire season. Then Mayan's creeped up around that Penn State games when it really became an issue. And then the defense, the other low light, and the big plays just contributed immensely to the two losses, really. I mean, those big plays set us up for failure, honestly, especially in the Michigan game. There's no two ways about it. So now where can we improve in 2023? Number one, running game. We have to find a way to get the running game back on track. We have tons of dudes with experience, but we also have a young O-line. We're losing both tackles. We lost our center. Now we do have both of our interior guys returning, Matt Jones and Donovan Jackson. So that's good. But we still haven't landed a starting tackle out of the portal. That's an issue. Depth at the O-line has been an issue for a few years now. Recruiting misses and just poor recruiting overall. We've got a bunch of dudes that are just, warm bodies that have never made a step. They've been in the program 3 years and have not shown that they can get on the field. So who's going to take the lead at running back? Is Travion, Mayan, offensive line? This is going to be a work in progress for sure. And dividing up carries and stuff is going to be a challenge. Number two area of improvement on defense, got to focus on the big plays again. That hurt; those killed us in 2022. Maybe it's just making adjustments to the scheme or just getting better play out of the players. It's always either coaching, scheme, or the player. I think all areas need to be improved, and that falls right squarely on the shoulders of Jim Knowles. He has to make adjustments. What else? Develop depth. Injuries, are a part of football. Buckeyes were crushed by them in various positions: corner, running back, across the Matt Jones, the O-line, receiver. Obviously, when JSN can't play the entire year, that's a big problem. Marvin Harrison gets knocked out with a cheap shot in the Peach Bowl. So in turn, we had to rely on inexperienced players playing key roles. Chip Trainum, a guy that was a linebacker, a month prior, was suddenly thrust into that Michigan game. And Dallin Hayden, true freshman. I like Dallin. I think he showed flashes of like special running ability, but I didn't understand the apprehension to use him. Seems like the coaches were afraid to use him. So anyways, back to the point, developing depth across the board, quality depth, and O-line, like I mentioned, has been an issue for years to get a solid two deep that you feel good about, So those are the big concerns, areas of improvement, and kind of a recap of the 2022 season, where we need to improve in 2023. It's going to be exciting. I'm pumped to see who makes that step, because this is going to be that year where you're going to see a lot of guys who have been buried, second, third teamers are going to be thrust into those starting roles, or at least pushing the guys ahead of them. And who will those be? So we'll break those down day by day as we get through this after season. Don't forget, it's an after season. There is no off season in Buckeye football. So, and work our way up to the preseason. All right. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate everybody. Please like, subscribe, and tune in tomorrow. And we'll hit you again with some more Buckeye football. Good luck.